பிள்ளை நல்ல குடும்பத்தை உருவாக்கும். ஒரு நல்ல மாணவர் நல்ல தேசத்தை உருவாக்குவான். If you're wondering what language this is, it's Tamil. It translates to a good child builds a good family. A good student builds a great nation. These powerful words from the late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam reminds us that nation building doesn't just start at the border. It starts in the classroom. Which brings us to one of the most stirring conversations of this forum, forging future patriots, how schools can inspire the next generation to serve the nation. In a world of shifting aspirations and digital distractions, how do we guide young minds towards service, integrity, and purpose? Today, we open that very dialogue. And this isn't just a dialogue, it's a salute to those who've lived what they now teach. So how do we raise the next generation of patriots? Let's hear it from those who've done it on the ground. Join me in welcoming our speakers onto the stage. Our host, Ms. Krishna Bhati, Educationist, Consultant, National Testing Academy. With 26 years in education and over a decade as a school leader, Ms. Krishna has led with vision, earning accolades like the Rajasthan Gaurav Award, and being ranked India's #1 in leadership by Education World. A firm believer in Gandhiji's Nayi Talim and skill-based learning, she champions experiential, transformative education across diverse school ecosystems. Joining her are our speakers, Air Vice Marshal H.S. Sidana, VSM, Assistant Chief of Air Staff Education, Indian Air Force, Colonel Sathya Rao, Director, Narayana Group of Education, Lieutenant Colonel A. Sekhar, Director, Universal Group of Education. May we please have you on stage?
Jai Hind to all of you. Shreya, thank you for introducing me. And I would like to take a moment to introduce the other panelists on the stage. Of course, since the morning, the charm and glory of uniform seems to have got all of us swept off our feet in admiration. And it is my proud privilege, once again, to welcome the serving and the veterans on the stage. Air Vice Marshal Harjeet Singh Sidana, Vishisht Seva Medal, ACAS Education. He is a graduate, BE in Civil Engineering, done Masters in Geotechnology, holds an MBA degree as well, and has done MPhil in Defense and Strategic Studies. Also, he's represented India at the very prestigious forum in the US as Intelligence Fellow, and was there in the Defense Intelligence Academy for a course. I would also like to mention about him, he's a seasoned officer with more than 33 years of experience and expertise, and he brings with him a wealth of knowledge, and he's shaping the education framework of the Indian Air Force. 129 schools, or Indian Air Force schools pan-India are following his leadership, and they are benefited. He's strengthening the education system. So privileged to have you here. Also, we have Colonel Sathya Rao, again a veteran, re-attired, 20 years invested in his service in the armed forces, where he'd done courses which qualified him as a commando, was a member of the IPKF, had also gone for counter-insurgency operations, and then 20 years again invested in school education, and Indus group of institutions benefited immensely and shines out because of his contribution and paving the way forward for their eminence. I have to my right a person who has a very, very strong presence on the stage, has a voice on many platforms, Colonel A. Sekhar, soldier, educationist, invested 22 years in the army education, and now, of course, he moves forward as a crusader and strong voice to transform people and life in education sector. So we put our hands together. Thank you so much to welcome all of them. AVM Sidana, I would like to start by asking you, and once again the sight of uniform, it really inspires, brings to my mind, evokes pictures of sacrifice, valor, courage. Sir, post-Operation Sindoor, the images and emotions, they still linger in our hearts. Families holding the fort, perplexed children, an anxious nation, both watching with pride as well as apprehension. Nation had prayers at that time, and those moments, as I recall, are very, very deep, and they stir something very deep in us. I'd like to understand from you something very basic as an educationist that I've also often wondered about. Is there an age for patriotism? And for a little child, when can patriotism really be instilled? And the word which moves from just the definition of the word, for example, Jai Hind, how would it move finally to a lived experience? What would your views be?
That's a great question. Thank you so very much for a great introduction. I really do not know, 5 minutes gone for the introduction, and the organizers must take a note of this. Anyway. No, I mean, that's not counted. The time starts right here. So the question is, what is the right age for patriotism? So a very, very simple answer to this: there is no right age. From the time you are born, the motherland. So here I'm tempted to tell you something. A child, when he is born, the one person to whom he is most connected is his own mother. You try taking a child from the lap of a mother who is a 6-month-old infant, and you just see. It is that what connects that child even to the motherland. Now, if you allow me, I will read from the NCERT book, which all the teachers and the principals and the educationists sitting here would very well connect. This poem is from class 2. So, answer to Dr. Krishna's question, that we in the Indian system start telling our child from class 2 about mother. माँ तुम कितनी भोली भाली, कितनी प्यारी प्यारी हो, दिल से सच्ची मिश्री जैसी, सारे जग से न्यारी हो. I'll just read this one paragraph. Now, as this paragraph means we are telling the child by stories of the nation, what he understands by seeing by the tales of valor. So now the child grows to the age of 9, 10, where he understands a little better. This is the time for him to do what civic sense has to come in between. I have been the principal in one of the Sainik schools. So we there believe in learning by doing. So what does that community service mean? We don't do that you should do the community service. So on a Saturday, there is something called as, and it's being there, I'm sure Colonel Sekhar has been in the military schools, Swachhata Parade. And we have the houses, the 4 houses. So they are going to the nearby villages. So what are we teaching them? We are not teaching them to, collect the garbage. We are teaching them what he can contribute to the community. So he is taking pride in what he is collecting. Likewise, when we tell him that, children, when you are going out of the class, it is the national resource when you switch off this electricity bulb or the light or the fan. So we are telling him that these resources, what you are saving today, it is for the next generation. So we are instilling in him or her the sense of patriotism. So the time starts from the word go.
Thank you, sir. Very well explained. I'll quickly come to Colonel Sathya for my second question. Sir, do you see shared ethos between defense and education? And could we also go fast? I'm so sorry.
Right.
We just commenced.
Well, I was fortunate to be in the army for 20 years and 20 years in education, and I see definitely there is a shared ethos. I mean, if you take the 7 cornerstones, what army believes in, and if you match it with the educator, it is almost the same. For example, duty. We are in time in the army. We have to follow. That's most important. Even in schools, you got to be in time because the students are going to be there. And the courage. We have the courage for the purpose we are in. And you people are there. The educators are there to ensure the children are taught well. That's the courage. They have to build in the courage. And it's the integrity. You have the integrity, both sides, it's the same thing. But unfortunately, in today's environment, the attritions are so frequent, and that's where I think there is a lot to do by the educationists. Service, both the organizations provide service to the nation. And self-discipline, I think that is what, again, in the army, it's self-discipline, and even in the education, if you're not self-disciplined and you don't voice that with the students, and they're not going to, learn these things. And last is we all move towards excellence. I mean, whether it's a school, whether it's an army unit, we are, all the time looking at excellence. So with that, I think I'll...
Thank you, Colonel Sathya. Colonel Sekhar, we just heard about some disruptions posing as a challenge. Do you think disruptions, which are order of the day as well, disruptions and duty, these two paradoxes, can they go together? Is there a balance?
Right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A little soporific now. I look at the audience. Let me rise all of them up. Firstly, I have some differences with what my senior colleagues are doing. A big round of applause for the Air Vice Marshal, because he's in a job which is much tougher than when we were as officers. Today, it's a much more difficult place for the armed forces to work with lots of technology coming in. A round of applause for him and his team, especially the young ladies. I hope and pray that in our lifetime, we will have a female air chief of staff. But I'll come to the point straight away. Firstly, patriotism and nationalism. We talk about patriotism, 15th of August, 26th of January, it reaches Mount Everest. On top of it, Aage Piche, Jai Ho. The attempt at patriotism, the attempt at nationalism has to go beyond synthetic nonsense. What we do is, in general, I will give you 2 examples. I ran a school in Gujarat. We sent a whole lot of them, 300 of them, to visit the National Defense Academy. They came back at 11 in the night. I spoke to all of them. 285 of them wanted to join the armed forces. 2 days later in an assembly, I asked the same lot, not even 5 hands came up. What happened? The parents had come in between. Firstly, do we know that the number of road accidents are more than the number of people dying in the armed forces? Do we understand the quality of life in the armed forces? And most importantly, do we care for it? When we speak to parents, when we interact with them, they will say Bharat Mata Ki Jai, they will say Jai Ho, they will say Vande Mataram. When you tell them to put their children, boys and girls, men and women, into harm's way in the armed forces, they will say, my son, you see, we all see. So can we have a mirror onto ourselves and question ourselves? Are we synthetic in our patriotism or do we mean business? That's one. Secondly, you look at any of the newspapers. As recently as a few days back, 3 generations have served the armed forces, and all 3 of them were told, prove your identity, otherwise you will be sent to Burma. Do we understand what we are doing? Do we understand what patriotism is? And do we really invest in our armed forces, at least for the country? I leave that question to you. Thank you.
Sir, thank you. AVM Sidana, patriotism doesn't always come in combat boots. Is there an idea where we can reframe the idea of serving the nation? And very quickly, sir, if we can pick up from where Colonel Sekhar left.
So very well put. This is just one aspect what Colonel Sekhar brought out. So it's not, the patriotism is not all about wearing the uniform. Patriotism is there in each one of you. It is not that you are not patriotic. Today's program started with Vande Mataram going on to the Sare Jahan Se Acha. So anything what you do for the country is patriotism. Any single thing, and that sense of pride has to be brought in by the educationist. That is the cradle where you start, that is the school. You start telling him, the child starts having the respect for the flag. Respect is the word for the flag. Not that national flag and there is a movie going to start. Okay, now we are going to have Jan Gan Man. Now that, we have to come much above that for patriotism.
What's a quick recipe, Colonel Sathya, for transitioning from national days to living national values?
Right. Just a quick one. We are in the age of artificial intelligence, climate stress, and socio-political disruptions. So the next generation is not only need technical skills, but they also need psychological resilience. They need what you call community engagement. They require what you call the leadership quotient. And just to understand these 4 things, what schools must stress on is mental resilience is one, to make children anti-fragile. Second, the social connect in the age of AI, and that is missing in today's students because they are all engaged in AI. The connect has to be there. The third is, I would say, moral intelligence. That means every one of us must ensure the students have a moral compass. And that is going to be, and these are the traits, critical traits for leadership, for service, and for...
Thank you so much, Colonel Sathya.
And the last one is purpose-driven vision, which is a must, where purpose gives direction to talent. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We've run out of time now, but very quickly, just 5-second answers. What is that one value that all of you would wish educators to walk the talk? Starting with you, sir.
National character in terms of first the nation, then the people you lead, and then yourself. First, the nation. The nation comes first, always, every time. The men or women you command come second. Your own welfare, your own well-being comes last, always, every time. On ground, it is the reverse. I come first, rest comes last. Can we change that conception in terms of building national character?
Fantastic. It resonates so well with us. And now, sir, just about 5 seconds to each of you.
My take on this is, identify your purpose till you go to the grave.
So I'll say service before self, right? So mission always successful. So whatever you have, people always, and mission has to be successful. So that is what is the tagline.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you, AVM Sidana. I would welcome 2 questions from the audience, in case it's possible. Sure, sure. So we can also take the questions.
Maybe 2 of them, yeah.
Thank you all the people on the dais and bringing back the nationalism to our minds. My question to the panelists would be, what community challenges do you think should be prioritized to make sure that we go from nationalism to nation building in the schools today?
So, the schools play the most important role in the hinterland because you are, see, like I said, we, the educators, we have something in common. If we are protecting the country from the borders, from the threat outside, you are the ones, the educators are the ones who is doing the national building by, giving those values of the countries, the ethos of the country to those children. And once that is instilled, you can sure that you are doing the nation building.
Thank you so much. We now bring this to a pause, but with the message off the stage, we will continue, and with a message for all of you. Ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. Jai Hind.
Thank you. May I please request...
Please remember, our moderator is a Fauji spouse. Her son is in the armed forces. Her Nana was also in the armed forces. She belongs to a very distinguished armed forces family.
May I please request you to stay on stage as Mr. Ravi Santlani felicitates you. I also request everyone to please scan the QR code. Okay, it was right here. Please take a moment to scan the QR code on the screen and put down your thoughts.